Let's go, chef.
If you know the song, sing along. Hit it.
It's the Carolina Cook, liners, rock and roll to the roll the rock. Say I'm cooking in the kitchen and just don't stop. Rock and roll to the roll the rock. Say I'm cooking in the kitchen and just don't stop. Cooking is my special.
What's up, everybody? Chef Anthony O'Brien here. The Carolina Cook, cooking, tasting, and eating the Carolina. 2A food entertainment in the building. What's this behind me? Oh, that's a fountain of youth. So I'm getting ready to jump into this fountain of youth and go back to my childhood and cook up something that I ate growing up. In this episode, I will be cooking up
Southern playalistic soul food, scrambled eggs, thick country grits with some stewed tomatoes and salmon patties. Once you get on it, you can't get off it.
Let's take a trip inside of my mind and see how I did this.
Let's go, chef. All right, y'all, this is another one Mama used to cook. Salmon patties, man. So what I'm going to do is start with some grits, all right? If you want to know how I make grits, just go to my video on smothered catfish and grits. That's where I go into somewhat of detail of how I make grits, okay? So with my grits, I'm just going to add cheese, butter, salt, and pepper, all right? So once I get this grits situated, I'm going to let it cook on a low simmer until I assemble the whole dish and bring everything together at the end. Okay, next on the menu, I continue with some stewed tomatoes. All right, so to get that started, I'm going to melt some butter in a pan. Then I'm going to saute some garlic in that butter. All right, you only want your garlic to go for about 30 seconds or so. Soon as you smell the aromas release, that's when you know it's ready, because you don't want to burn this garlic. The purpose is just to release a good garlic flavor into your stewed tomatoes. Instead of stewed tomatoes, you can keep it simple and just use ketchup. All right, y'all, being that I'm a trained chef, I know the importance of fresh ingredients. It gives a whole nother taste to your dishes, all right? And most chefs are die hard about not using canned items. But since we're doing this at home, and since I'm doing what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and use some diced, fire-roasted tomatoes, okay? This is what I'm making my stew from. Now, if you want to make your stew from scratch, by all means, do so, okay? Now, I'm going to add some water to these tomatoes, and we're going to get it to stewing, or basically get the stew started. All right, well, we don't want just straight tomato taste, so we're going to go ahead and season this. So first I'm going to hit it with some sneeze powder, which is black pepper. Then I'm going to use some adobo all-purpose seasoning. You see that tomato on there? So that's letting you know that it's a good seasoning for that. Then I'm going to hit it with a couple shakes of salt. All right. Now, once I brought this stew up to a boil, I'll bring it back down a couple notches to a low simmer. Then what I'm going to do is add a little more liquid and let this stew simmer for about 30 minutes. See that reduction that's taking place? So periodically, check your stew pot and add more water as needed. I wasn't working with a lot of water from the beginning because I am not making a large quantity. And I don't want it too liquefied. Okay, so I'm going to cover that and just let it go. Periodically checking my liquid levels. This daggone glove, man. Oh my goodness. I guess that'll work. Let's go, chef. Gloves are too small. All right, but right now we're gonna start on our salmon. So we got one 14-ounce can of Wild Alaska pink salmon. All right, I got myself some chopped green peppers, chopped onions, and chopped celery that I'm gonna throw in there. Now I'm gonna add a little all-purpose flour. That flour will be your binder. Now I'm gonna add one grade A large egg. Now I'm gonna season with a little celery salt, a little black pepper, a little Goya, and I'm just gonna mix that around to form the salmon patties. Hee hee! I'm working like Michael Jackson right now. One glove, man. One glove. I'm Michael Jackson right now. Y'all saw how hard it was for me to get this one glove on. So I'm not gonna try to force another one on. This is optional, but I'm gonna set my salmon in the freezer and let it firm up a little bit. You know, I don't like to try to work with mushy meat. All right, y'all. So what I pretty much did was set my salmon mixture in the freezer to let it firm up. Now I'm gonna form some patties. I'm placing my patties on wax paper so that all I have to do is just flip the paper over in the pan so that I don't have to worry about trying to, mess my patties up. All right, y'all, I didn't measure or weigh anything. I just went by eyesight, just made some balls out of them. And, these balls are going to, as they settle, they're going to form in the shape of patties on their own. All right, y'all, so let's get ready to drop these into the oil. Okay, now let's go ahead and introduce our patties to the pan. See how the freezer got them? See how the freezer got them nice and firm? All right, I didn't measure anything out. I just made 3 nice sized patties. Now what I'm gonna do is just let these salmon patties fry for 4 minutes on each side. So it's gonna take about 8 minutes to cook these up. The stewed tomatoes already done. Just a personal pan size. Grits already done. Nice and cheesy and thick. And that's what it is. And that's what it is. We got ourselves a meal after this is finished. All right, it's been 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and flip these patties over. Look at that nice crispy outer layer there. Let that go for 4 minutes and we're done. All right, now patties are done. I'm gonna go ahead and let it drain. I mean, if you wanna let your patties cook until that that light ring becomes dark, that's on you. Like how you cook your hamburger patties until the brown meets the brown. I'm not concerned about that today. Okay. So I'm gonna let my ring stay there. And what that lets me know is that it's crispy on the outside and has a softer texture in the middle. So I got my crust going and I got my softness going. All right, and that's that on the patties, y'all. I think I'm gonna do something extra, just scramble some eggs here with this and throw it in with that. All right, y'all, with my scrambled eggs, sometimes I beat them and sometimes I don't. So normally I just crack them and put them straight in the pan and just scramble them from there. And y'all, one little tip. When you go in the grocery store, check your eggs, okay? Check to make sure your eggs are not cracked. Today, for instance, I bought a carton of eggs and didn't open it to check the eggs. And you got one cracked egg here. I can't do nothing with it. All right, y'all, so I'm pretty much going to season my scrambled eggs with a little Greek seasoning. And with scrambled eggs, okay, I just mix them while they cook. That's it. So I'm pretty much going to scramble these a little bit on the light side. It's going to be like a mixture of hard and light all in one portion. All right, and the key to a nice fluffy scrambled egg is to just go ahead and just let it cook slow and do its little thing on its own. All right, so you see how nice and fluffy that scrambled egg came out, like a light scramble. All right, now we're going to go ahead and fix ourselves a nice brunch, okay? Y'all know what's funny to me? Sometimes my son does this when I cook. When you done whipped up something good and the plate is getting fixed and you sitting there looking because you can't wait to try it. All right, so let's go ahead and put our grits on the plate. You see that's a nice thick grits right there. All right, I got it full of cheese and flavors. Got my scrambled eggs on there. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my salmon patty. And what I'm going to do is garnish it with the stewed tomatoes. And this is a nice, heavy breakfast or brunch that you can even have for dinner, y'all. Deep South old school cooking. And there you have it, y'all. Southern playalistic soul food. Nice, thick, cheesy grits. Nice, crispy on the top and bottom. Tender in the middle. Salmon patty. Scrambled eggs with stewed tomatoes, y'all. You don't get no better than that. You don't get no countryer than that. You don't get no southern than that. This dish became a Southern staple because during the Great Depression, people had vitamin B3 deficiencies. So to combat that, the federal government subsidized salmon producers and they began to can salmon and make it more affordable. Pretty good and nostalgic. Y'all, to be honest, this is pretty much good for breakfast or dinner. There's numerous sides you can serve with salmon patties. But down south back in the day, we normally grew up eating these with grits. Okay? But you can serve them with rice and string beans, stuff like that, you know. Some people even make burgers out of them. Y'all just remember, nourish whatever you're doing until it grows and stick to what you're doing. Don't be diverted from what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing and maintain your focus. A lot of times you got to skip out on the hanging out, stuff like that, and make time for what you're doing if you want to get somewhere with it. A lot of people not going to understand that. Don't neglect the people you love and stuff. Make time for them, but also just make time for what you're doing, okay? You got to balance everything out in life. Sometimes I choose to fall back and do a cooking video instead of doing other things, you know? So in a nutshell, stick to what you do and put time into it if you want it to grow, if you want it to get somewhere. Thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, share the love, and subscribe to get me into the rhythm of the algorithm. All right? See you on the next one. Liketh, shareth thou the love, and subscribeth unto my channel and smiteth that notification button. Thank you.